All right, we're going to be flushing out Pacheco and Sanchez. So these two contractors, employees of PimGym, are not evil, but their boss is, and they've been working for him for quite some time, and I figured they're not dead yet. Let's figure out what else they have going on. So we're going to be using Une to help flush them out. I may use maze rats as well, just so there's Une for some physical characteristics. But the first thing I want to do, completely unnecessary, is find out what state these guys are from. And let's start with Pacheco. So Pacheco, and I'm spelling this P-E-C-H-E-C-K-O. I'm sure there's other ways to spell it. I've seen a couple. I think I've even spelled it different in my notes before. So the first thing I want to know is what state. So we're going to do alphabetically, 1 through 50. I'm rolling percentile dice, so we'll see where that ends up. And 29. 29. I've got to look and see what state that is. New Hampshire, baby. New Hampshire. Pacheco is from New Hampshire, so we're going to put under nationality, New Hampshire. So let's go branch of the military. We know Pacheco is some kind of special forces, so we're going to use 5 branches of the military. We're going to include the Coast Guard. Not that they have a special forces branch that I know of, but they do some boarding party training and some things of that nature. And I'm sure, unbeknownst to me, because I'm not as up on the Guard, they've probably got some special tactical units. Of course, Navy have the SEALs. Army has Rangers, younger, special forces. Worked with some of those guys, real intense. And then Delta guys, which I've known one guy that went Delta, and then I never saw him again, although he's still alive. So, and I don't think you usually see Delta guys as contractors, or at least I haven't. And then Air Force actually has some chopper rescue, gosh, they got a name. They're rescue units that go way into enemy territory and will pick up down pilots. And Marines have recon. So we're going to do all 5. I think I've covered all 5 there. Let's just do a 6-sided die, and you know what? We'll throw in, if it's a 6, we'll throw in law enforcement, because I have seen some SWAT guys going for contract work. So if we get a 6, we'll go law enforcement somewhere. And guess what we get? Pacheco is a 6. Well, that could be interesting. So 6 with the bullet. So branch would be, we're going to do LEO contractor. That does happen. And we'll include some SWAT, because the guys I've seen have gone and done some contract work with SWAT training. That's interesting. Didn't expect that to come up. Kind of made that up on the fly. You know what? We do have a section for appearance. And for that, I will go to maze rats. And we're going to go into literally their area called appearance. And we're going to use a 6-sided die rolled twice. They've got 36 different lists here, or not lists, but sections. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's 6 within this section. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, solid. Okay, so solid. I'm gonna, a solid would be like strongly built. Solid, strongly built. Okay. I'm curious, they have some other things here with physical details. This gets into some weird stuff like acid scars and stuff, but why not? Let's just throw it in. What else does Pacheco have? Solid, strongly built, former SWAT guy, section 6 and 2, shaved head. Okay, solid, strongly built, shaved head. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. That was actually pretty good. Do we need mannerisms, personality? Um, we already picked up some personality notes. So, personality wise, I think we can skip that because he's been like strong, steady, professional. So, I'm just going to put steady, professional. So, Sanchez was a bit of the hothead. So, but when Pacheco got tasked, he kind of just took Kreig's crap and then went out and just did what needed to be done with making connections at the army base and whatnot. So I think we already have some of that. Reputation. I don't think I need anything else from this at this point in time. That is interesting. I didn't think we'd be going down that road. I will come back and fill in the attributes, which I kind of already have from the shortened version. Facebook, in the notes right in this section, I'll include who came up. There's a Facebook site that has files. The fan that came up with these short little, I don't know, like NPC little character things where you can fit 4 characters on one. I'll pull some stuff off of that because all of his stats have really been configured already. You know what we don't have though? So military rank, he's just going to have been an officer, LEO. So officer, not a sergeant or anything like that. Quite honestly, by the time you make sergeant, usually a little bit older, law enforcement wise. Officer, his moral code. I think, so we have a couple options here. Law enforcement, it's usually, if you've done good enough and it's real strict to move all the way into LEO, background checks, everything like that. To get on the SWAT team, you've had to prove yourself on the street. And then you've interviewed for the SWAT team. And you're usually fairly solid by that point in time. So I don't think it's a deal that maybe, you know, he's a bad apple or anything. He hasn't shown that. He's actually shown a solid kind of ability. Actually, I think part of his moral code is going to be in juxtaposition to Kreig, which is even more interesting personality-wise. Not saying that he knows that Kreig is evil, because I'm not sure that's manifested itself. It's not that evil walks around declaring itself. We're going to put, though, a moral code. I think we're going to put, I think law and order is a no-brainer, and takes orders. So law and order takes orders. I think that sets up the moral code pretty good. His big dream. Let's go for this. I don't know. I'm going to go for, let's see if we can get something from the Mythic emulator. We're going to roll under like a special event for action and subject. We'll see if I can get a big dream out of that. 56, usurper, or usurp. Okay. Usurp, 59. Let's see what that's going to do. 59, usurp randomness. Okay, well, it means he wants to throw out or get rid of randomness. Usurp randomness. Destroy, get rid of randomness. So this is his big dream. What would it be to... Okay, well, I got it. I think I got it. The instinct is you don't make a lot of money in law enforcement. You don't do bad, but you don't make a lot of money. And you are beholding a little bit to the, 30 years. It's kind of like the regular military. You're going to do 20 to 30 years, maybe 35 max, and then take your pension and go. And it's just, that's what you're going to do. And but to usurp randomness might be to take control of his life a little bit more. He's not one that wants to wait. His big dream is to open his own tactical training school. So for that, he needed some money, which he was not going to have enough money working for LEO. He's already got the SWAT cred, but he wanted to get some extra money working in combat zones as a contractor. You'll make 10 times more than generally a cop or even active duty military. And the more hostile the environment, the more money you're usually paid. You're paid for your skill set, not at your rank. Totally different from law enforcement. He was hoping to make some cash, make his money. He's a solid troop, and then retire back with enough money to start up and run his own tactical training school in New Hampshire, where he's from. That's his dream. Of course, that got busted, and he's now stuck in Poland with Kreig, still kind of working for Pim Jim, and we've got our character base. I like it. That's Pacheco. I got a good feel for him. Let's do Sanchez. So Sanchez, we already know from the name kind of the Hispanic heritage. He's also much less agreeable. He has chipped up to Kreig a couple times, and he doesn't suffer taking crap very easily, even from Kreig. Now, I think with that mentality, we'll come back and figure out what state he's from. But let me get Sanchez in here. The one thing I think we can rule out, well, he doesn't feel like an Air Force cat to me. If anything, he feels like he's Marine Corps, chip on his shoulder, or Army Ranger type, you know, a little more youthful, a little more edge to him, airborne. I think Coast Guard, no. Air Force, no. I think he's too rough around the edges, and he wouldn't have even picked Air Force. LEO, not with that attitude. I don't think he would have got through an Airborne. So could he be Navy SEAL? Sure. He could have been young gun and just saying, I want to be a Navy SEAL, not a naval SEAL, a Navy SEAL. So let's just do, I don't need 3 dice. Let's just do 1, 2 as Marines, 3, 4 as Navy, and 5, 6 is Army. All right, we got a 5. So let's just go Army. He's an Army Airborne Ranger. So Army Airborne Ranger. You can get that right in your orders. Now, you got to succeed all the way along the way. Army Airborne Ranger. What state did you come in from there, Sanchez, with your attitude? With his attitude coming in. All right, let's see. So again, we're doing percentile dice, but, you know, if it's over 50, we'll know. If it's over 50, we'll know. We have 15. So basically, we would have just doubled it up. But 15 is easy. Come on. Iowa! Perfect. My father's from Iowa. So Army Airborne Ranger, Iowa, USA. So very, very good. Excellent. Now, we got to figure out a few things. So we have Army. I should have had this here. Army Airborne Ranger. We are going to go with appearance. We're going to come over here again. So we've got the 6-sided die. We have a 2 and a 5. Craggy. Craggy. What is craggy? I would picture craggy as like, I don't know, old. Hey Siri, define craggy.
Craggy means of a landscape having many crags.
It says, of a person's face, typically a man, rugged and rough textured in an attractive way. Okay, rugged face. Interesting. Almost reminds me of the Hispanic guy doing Machete, although he's much older. I would think that's craggy, but a rugged face. Rugged, attractive face, okay? Attractive. Interesting. And physical details. I want to know, like, what are we dealing with here physically? We have a 1 and a 1. Well, this doesn't match at all. Acid scars. How would you have acid scars on your face? But okay, he's still somehow attractive, even though he has some acid scars on face. Okay, you can be attractive with acid scars. That's fine. I would have liked to have top knot down here. That would have been cool. Or neck tattoo. I would have, it says tattoos, I'm thinking neck tattoos, but it doesn't. We've got acid scars on his face. Battle scars is right below that, but okay. Let's see, personality, we already know. We know that he is rough around the edges. We know that. He was enlisted. I don't think he got past E4. I picture him having some discipline problems in the Rangers, not being selected for Special Forces or Delta or anything like that, and got a little fed up, finished his 4 years, and jumped into Pim Jim to make some money and work with his machismo. So, what would be his moral code? Well, I think with his attitude, I'm going to say make a name for himself. So, that was his big deal. We even covered the fact that he couldn't get into SF or anything else, and he wants to make a name for himself. Big dream. Let's do big dream on this again and just see what it would be. So we have 68. 68 is carelessness. Okay. Carelessness, but this is his dream. 28. What would be a carelessness and pleasures? His big dream is carelessness and pleasures. Okay. Well, I picture under this, that feels to me like retiring or going to a Caribbean beach and being careless and just enjoying the beach and the pleasures, especially if you come from Iowa. Not that Iowa's bad, but you got farm country, corn country, and I could see the idea of just making enough money, making a name for yourself, and retiring to a Caribbean beach somewhere. So, not to mention, with everything that's gone on, I've got a feeling that one of these islands in the Caribbean might actually be the best place to be. You know, not big enough to get nuked, but live out his days, carefree. It said careless, but without care. Carefree on Caribbean beach. So at some point in time, he wants to get out of Poland where it's cold, cold, and more cold. Again, I have his stats already, so I'll stat him up later. We'll get that done. We know most of his weapons stuff as well. I want to do one more character because the last episode I did, and I didn't plan on doing this, I want to work on the Major, and I need to get the sheet for what his name is. Major McGiffin. That's right. It was almost MacGuffin, but that wouldn't have been right. Major McGiffin, who, in one of the episodes I just did, he sent his Humvees out to pick up the troops without Kreig directing it. Kreig was very irritated by that. That's going to be, by the way, where we start. Kind of like a post-op mission debrief. I've been in some of those, and they can get heated sometimes. You're supposed to call out things that worked, things that didn't, problems that occurred, stuff that should have occurred and didn't. So for McGiffin, we already know he's Major U.S. Army. I would like to get his moral code, his appearance. So let's come to his appearance first. We're back to the 6. We have a 1, and we have a 6. A 1-6 is brutish. Okay, that is interesting. Brutish. And I did picture him. He didn't really enjoy being left behind with the last 100 as everybody bugged out. I had that feeling. You know, when you're left, hey, you know, your orders are to hold the rest of this base. We're falling back a little bit. It's kind of like, okay, I'm out of the loop. Physical details. 3. Doesn't always mean you're out of the loop, but whatever. 3 and then a 1. Huh. An exotic accent. Huh. Okay. So brutish and exotic accent. Interesting. As a major, having an exotic accent. Would this be some kind of like Louisiana or New Orleans Creole? Yes, that's what it is. So that just told me where he's from. I don't need to roll. So he is from New Orleans. And that's where he has the Creole accent. That's perfect. I like it. And he's brutish. He's brutish. Huh. Let's see. I want a few more things on him. I want to throw him on the back because I need to know who he is and what he's doing here. So we know he's brutish. There's a personality section on here, but it gets a little bit out of the area here. I don't think I'm going to go to that. Same with mannerisms. You know what? I do want to include a secret, though. I want a secret. Matter of fact, if Kreig ever figures out what his secret is, he'll use it against him. So we have a 6 under secret and a 1. No way. This says serial killer. And I'm not lying on here either. Serial killer. 2 serial killers up? Come on. Oh, geez, I just don't think that works. You get 2 serial killers against each other? Huh. Serial killer against the serial killer. I'm going to go with what the dice did. Boy, that seems... I didn't even know that was in there. Serial killer. So we're doing Evil Twilight 2000. And I guess if these two are going to butt heads, which they clearly are, but they're both serial killers? Come on. Well, all right. This is secret. We got serial killers all over the place. Well, maybe that's why he got left behind. He's made people feel weird. I want to go for a hobby as well. Serial killing's not enough. Let's get a hobby. I need to flesh him out. 3. I saw falconry on here. That's not what I rolled. Fashion. Right below falconry is fashion. So his hobby is fashion. What the hell? What does that mean? How can you be into fashion? I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. That seems pretty darn weird. Is there anything else I want on here? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think having a serial killer whose hobby is fashion and is brutish with a Creole accent is interesting enough. Moral code. Well, I believe we just got it. I'm going to have to figure out, I guess, I don't know what kind of, there must be different kinds of serial killers. Let me look into that later. I know Kreig is, where is Kreig? What is his? King me? Oh, my moral evil is natural. So what he's saying is that a natural evil is kind of like if, I don't know, an earthquake destroyed a school and a bunch of kids died. Well, that is a natural evil. But he's claiming that his moral evil is natural, that he is nature himself. He is the bringer of death, and he is nature, with his big dream being king me. So moral code, we'll figure out what kind of fashion serial killer moral code that McGiffin has. McGriffin, not McGiffin, McGriffin. We know he's brutish. I want to know what his big dream is, so we're going to roll over here. 80, okay, no, 8, sorry, 008. 8 is oppose, and 98. Oppose fame, okay. Well, if you oppose fame, well, that makes sense. Serial killer. Maybe that's why he got left behind, too. He never stands out. So, opposing fame. He is always trying to just blend in and just disappear into the background. Blends in, disappears into background. Okay, and I'm going to put unremarkable. Now that still doesn't give me what that would be under his moral code, or his big dream actually. His big dream is to, I would think maybe it's just to drop off the grid. And oddly enough, that has almost happened. That's not going to be too hard to do with this current situation in the world. I think given maybe that gold, he could drop off the grid and go wherever he wants. I'll figure out his moral code later. We know that he is a major in the U.S. Army. Under this, I don't think, oddly enough, he would have been like infantry or armor. I'm thinking like, what was it? Signals officer? Yeah, Signal Corps, Transportation, Ordnance, Military Police, Medical Services, Field Artillery, Cyber Corps, interesting, Aviation, Chemical Corps, Air Defense Artillery. You know what? I feel like he would be either Transportation or Signal Corps. Signal Corps function. An army must communicate. The army uses all types of radio and cellular phone technology. Transportation, all activities to move people, equipment, supplies. I'm going to go with he's a Signal Corps officer. That's it. It seems like it would be a place where he could hide. All right. I'm back in. I'm cutting in on my own video because I've been thinking a lot about this double serial killer thing. And so first of all, I want to be true to the dice. Oh, by the way, we do have a rainstorm coming in, and my wife's on the phone and apparently loud. So you may hear some of that. But back to the serial killer. I wanted to be true to those dice. And so the first thing I did was go actually research types of serial killers. And I found where Kreig is power control organized. I felt like Major McGiffin should be mission-oriented organized, and I kind of read up on those. So something that drives Kreig, sorry, we know power control, something that drives the major. And then I thought, okay, and it is evil Twilight, so the fact that the dice rolled serial killer is a secret is fine, but it's slightly different type. So I thought, what would it be? And what hit me is he's repressed because he's He's got a shaved head. He's brutish. It's like he's internally upset about something. Then it had the odd deal that he's into fashion and things. And I started thinking, this sounds like this major joined the military. He's got a Creole accent, so he's from Louisiana area. He's got that that French Creole kind of thing going on. And I thought, I feel like as a serial killer, he's repressing, and that's why he's mission-oriented. And what I'm thinking is he's joined the military under the don't ask, don't tell, because he's repressing his own urges. And it's gotten to the point where I believe a strict raising that he had in his family to restrict those, to not be true to himself, and that it's turned pathological or serial killer. I think what he's done is not often, but when he's been confronted with, I think, homosexuals in the military, I think he's acted on that serial killer instinct. And that's his deep secret, that it's actually his own repressed feelings that are then coming out in that mission-oriented, don't ask, don't tell format. And that's his deep secret on both folds. So he's not a power control. I would say his is more that self-denial and then trying to go places where he's not going to run into that, a la the military, and exuding even more like machismo than, so he appears a certain way that he is not. So that's what I got from the dice. That's what I got that makes sense, that he is not like Kreig. He's a different type of evil. And I thought, whoa. I mean, this kind of hit me when I was thinking, how in the world would this work? And then that just fit in with the die rolls that I got. And it seemed to be the instinctual thing of what was coming out of his character. So I went with it. Again, these are adult themes. I put the disclaimer on the front that these shows are not meant for children. I'm weighing in, however, that these are evil characters. They shouldn't be doing any of this. But therein lies the game. And hopefully you're seeing I've juxtaposed these good folks that they're running into, because what I would hope to see, that I think we are seeing, and this isn't anything I had planned. I didn't have all these characters even in mind. Nothing. It was all dice created. But that we'll see, in many respects, the good versus evil in a bad, chaotic situation that is Twilight 2000 4th edition. So, this video is long enough already, but I wanted to explain some of what was going on and the reasoning behind it. And there you have it. A different type of evil, a different type of serial killer. A repressed serial killer. All right, we fleshed out those three characters. The only other thing I've thought about is Jan. Yeah, let me do Jan while we're here. We will throw Jan in. Jan, or Jan the Marauder. Jan the Marauder. So he is Polish. And he is, or a marauder, with no military rank. But I want to know his appearance. And we've got a 4 and a 1. It says hideous. He's got a hideous appearance. Okay. What would a hideous appearance be? I think he's been burned. I think, he's got heavy facial burns. His ears are even kind of burned off. So heavy facial burns. Missing ears. God dang, that would be bad. Missing ears. We didn't have that before, but he definitely, he's rough, he's gruff, but he totally subservient to Kreig in the first meeting between him and Kreig. Now, under physical details, it goes into burn scars and all this kind of stuff. Under hideous, I've just intuited that he's been facial burned. We already know his personality. He's both brutal because he almost kills one of his own troops based on being questioned, but he's extremely just whatever Kreig wants, it's like subservient to Kreig. I'm curious, let's do a secret for him, hopefully not serial killer. 2 and a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fence. What does, a fence here would mean that he used to deal in stolen goods. Well, that makes perfect sense. So we're going to go with job, dealt with stolen goods. Not hard for him to move into running the gas racket that they were running before. So I wouldn't even say that was a secret, but that's fine. He was dealing with stolen goods. The no hobbies, nothing else. I think we've got enough for him other than what would be his moral code and his big dream. So we've got criminal activities, trying to make money. I don't know. Let's do both. Let's start with moral code, and we're again using Mythic Emulator. 82 is activity, and 41. Activity advice. Activity advice. So his moral code is whatever it takes to stay in charge. Yep. And as soon as Kreig came along, I think he realized it was die or, hitch himself to Kreig's rising star. So what's his big dream? We're going to use this again. 84. 84 is care. Okay. And 44. Care prison. So his big dream. Care prison. Okay. I've got a feeling like his motivation is an older brother who basically kind of raised him as well because his dad wasn't around for whatever reason. The older brother was in prison, basically doing criminal stuff just like Jan or Jan is, but his big dream is to find his brother who was in prison when everything went to hell. So, and I don't mean like military prison. I mean like he was in prison in Poland for crimes and was in prison for crime. So he's got a goal to find him and get him out. We already know how he met the group. I've got him statted up on the same sheet over here. We will get that figured out. And I like that. I actually like that a lot. We'll stop. All right, just a little catch up, flesh out some of these background characters that we're running into. I needed to know them a little better. Thank you for following along. If you haven't, please subscribe if you enjoy the show. If you hit the little button there, you'll get an alert every time I put a video out. I still do video game stuff. I've got my Twilight 2000 with Ron and Dan where we're doing live stuff, kind of. I film it with them live, Canada and Ohio, but we keep that private so I'm not distracted by comments and stuff. We might do a live one sometime. And thumb it up. You gotta thumb it and make it a little harder to hit that thumb, but you gotta click that thing open and then give it a thumb. Helps out a lot. Helps out a lot. See you guys. Chief, bonding with board games and RPGs.